orders of the Inquisition are yours to command.
Hello everybody, I just whacked the camera and welcome back to another Masters of the Watch video. You guys might notice I'm talking a bit funny. That's because I've got an infection in my tooth and it's making my speech go a little bit funny, so I'm sorry about that. Well, not an infection in my tooth really, an infection in my gum. But anyway guys, so what have I got to show you today? Well, I'm going to be showing you some more of the infantry of the Masters of the Watch. The first of which are just some Space Marine stuff, and the second thing is going to be something really cool that a lot of you old school fluff masters might know about, but a lot of you new people might not. But anyway, let's kick off with what I've got so far. And the first thing I got to show you is I needed some muscle, and I was going to choose Terminators for this role, but I thought, you know what, they just don't go with the overall feel of my army. So what I decided to do, I decided to make myself some Stern Guard. If any of you guys have me on the old Facebook, you guys will have seen these popping up every now and again. Let's just line these all up for you. Now, the Stern Guard I chose because, well, they're just a lot better than Standard Marines, and they have all the different types of ammo, and considering I'm going for a very shooty kind of defensive list, these guys were the ones to pick. Now, let's just zoom in a little bit to them. So, we've got some guys that are kind of in this running pose with two guns, because, you know, there's nothing better than being a badass, with a pistol and a bolter just chilling there. Now, you also might notice that these legs aren't exactly Games Workshop standard. Oh no, Games Workshop legal team's going to kick down my door and rape me. But anyway, so, these are the Anvil Industries legs that I was showing on my Hobby Tips video. If you haven't seen these out, well, unpainted, please go and check it out. I'll put a linky link in the doobly-doo if I remember. But these are really, really cool, really, really dynamic legs, and they make them a tiny weeny little bit taller than your average Space Marine, which is really, really good. Now, let's look at some of the other details. I indeed did buy the horrendously expensive Death Watch conversion pack off of the old Games Workshop website, mainly because I wanted these shoulder pads to be different. I wanted them to be able to be used as Death Watch, and Death Watch Proxy Stern Guard seemed to be the way to go. The bolters I didn't use. In fact, I've got some of the bolters sitting around here, and I'll show you why, just in case anybody else is planning on doing a Death Watch conversion. Now, here is a regular bolter from the Space Marine sprue. This scope is again from Anvil Industries, but unfortunately here is one of these Stalker bolters from the Games Workshop website. Now, as you guys can see, they're considerably smaller and they just don't look right. The scopes on them are absolutely bizarre and somewhat pathetic as well. I don't understand why this cabling is here around the back if it's a scope, although maybe that does feed to their helmet or something. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, so they're a lot smaller than what you think and you see on the website, because as always, Games Workshop has a terrible issue of not being able to scale stuff properly. Now, another thing I'd like to point out on the Death Watch conversion sprue, you get some awesome little heads. Let's zoom in, which are pretty cool, like the shouting heads. And you also get the helmeted heads. However, it sucks if you want to do an all-helmeted squad like me, because you only get 5 heads, which is a little bit rubbish. So what I've had to do, I've had to kind of mix in. I've had to do like 5 helmeted from the Death Watch, and then 5 regular, just from the regular Marine sprue. As you can see here, guys, nothing really mega special, just some nice little conversions. But I do have a couple of quite dynamic ones, you know, just like running forward, like shooting, because like I say, nothing better than being a badass. I opted for a bit of a power fist here on the Sergeant. I forgot to do this little top bit here, so we're going to do that gold later on. But the Sergeant's got a power fist and a bolt pistol, mainly just to give a little bit better anti-tank if they ever get into close combat with anything. So obviously strength 8 there on the charge, which would be pretty cool. We've got this little guy here with a bit of an Auspex going on. Yeah, just to change it up a little bit to make them all look a little bit less uniform, but at the same time keep them uniform. So that is my Stern Guard squad, and they're going to form part of the attacking part of the Assault Vanguard for my Masters of the Watch. Let's just move these guys back here. Now, the next thing I've got to show you is something really, really cool. Let me just zoom out a little bit. Now, it was not long ago when I was reading some little-known fluff about the 41st millennium, and I came upon fluff regarding, well, a tiny bit of cryptic fluff, namely about the Men of Iron, or the Iron Men. Now, the Iron Men, just a little bit of backstory, they are actually AIs, and they were created during the Dark Age of technology, and they were completely autonomous. There was nothing controlling them, they were artificial intelligence, and they were the Imperium's army, pretty much. However, just before the Age of Strife happened, something happened, whether it was chaos, corruption, because these beings were sentient, whether it was chaos, corruption, or they just had enough of being downtrodden by the Imperium. The machines rose up against the Imperium of Man, and that started a big-ass fucking war, in which they decided to destroy all AIs, and the Mechanicus were sworn never again to use AIs. However, they were to use the machine spirit, which is a human brain implanted into a vehicle, because it involves more control over it. But yeah, so I decided to do some Men of Iron in regard to my veterans for my Imperial Guard side of my army. So I was thinking to myself, oh, what could I do? What could I get? And I came upon some absolutely wonderful miniatures from Anvil Industries. Now, let me just pop these down here for you. Everybody will start reminiscing about, oh my god, it's the T1000, everybody go to the chopper now. I'm the Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'm in Model T101. Living flesh or a metal endoskeleton. But yeah, so anyway guys, let's just zoom into these beasts down here. Now these guys are just absolutely awesome, so easy to paint and so easy to fit together. They just look so Terminator-like, which is fantastic. The guns are really similar to actual las guns. Do I have an example? No, I don't. I had one to hand, but he's since gone AWOL. He's missing in action. But obviously the main guns look a lot like las guns. On the Anvil Industry website, there's actually about 4 different main weapon options you can choose, and you can actually get a special weapon in there as well. My special weapon, I opted for a flamer. The nozzle of it is a little bit bigger because I used a standard marine flamer on this guy, just because I wanted it to fit in a bit more with the 41st millennium. But guys, for 10 of these guys, I know there's only 9 because I'm going to come on to that in a second. For 10 of these guys, it's 18 quid. You get the choice of weapon options, and you get the choice of heavy weapons. Now, let me find my box. Where have I put it? Now, you might notice that these heads here, they're kind of like rebreathery kind of mecha, kind of very machine culty style heads. They'd be very good for Skitarii, I believe. So you've got those heads like that. However, you also get these rather Terminator-y looking heads like this. Now I chose to do the machine quality heads because of my sergeant, but the miniatures themselves are exceptionally easy to go together. Let me just count how many pieces. Ah yes, so they don't come supplied with bases. Bases are extra, but you know you can pick up these bases for cheap off eBay anyway. You get a pair of legs in varying different poses. You've got kind of stood up ones, you've got lean to the side ones, you've got running poses. You get, oh shit, well that's gone for a burn. You've got the arms here and the torso, which again come in 3 different poses, 3 or 4 different poses. You get a sprue of the guns, like this. Now essentially you clip this off, you clip the stock off, you clip the trigger off, and it just nestles in there, and they fit so well together, and they get a head as well. So you get obviously legs, torso, weapon and head. So they're a 4-part kit pretty much, not including the base, and they just look absolutely awesome. And whilst they are still a bit samey in regards to positioning, they just look good because obviously they're supposed to look uniform because they're robotic. But anyway guys, so you might notice that there's 9. Now I decided for my army, I wanted, obviously it's an inquisitorial army, which means inquisitors are going to use whatever they have to their disposal. And I was thinking maybe on the planet that my inquisitor is charged with defending, maybe on there he found an inactive bunch of Men of Iron. Maybe he mistook them for Necrons, called in some Adeptus Mechanicus, and they checked them out, and they actually mind-locked them to themselves. So my AdMech guys are going to be the sergeants. As you can see, I've got 2 AdMech guys here, so they're going to form the sergeants, just because it will just tie it in so nicely with the rest of my army. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to give a little bit of a pan across these guys, and just guys, let me know what you think in regard to these guys as Men of Iron, or Iron Men. I think they're really cool looking, and obviously I painted these up in literally about 15 minutes. It probably shows, but that's how easy, because they're just all supposed to be metal. Very Terminator-like. So I'll just give it a little bit of a pan. Just let me know what you think, guys. Let me know what you think. I think a fantastic substitute for Imperial Guard veterans. Obviously, given the Grenadier bit, squad rule, so they all have a 4+ armor save, and hey ho, you're ready to go. And it's 18 quid for 10 of them, guys, so they're already pretty much all sorted there. Nothing you need to do is find something to use as a sergeant. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for listening. I've rambled on for about 10 minutes now. Please let me know what you guys think of these, especially for Iron Men, and I'll include another link in the doobly-doo to Anvil Industries. Speaking of Anvil Industries, if you didn't see my hobby tip review, I'll link that as well in the doobly-doo, as I said at the beginning of the video, so you guys can go check that out as well. So anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys again on the next video. So see you guys again, guys. See you guys again, guys. See you guys again. Bye-bye.